nigga, if I can, literally anybody can. Like, if I can do it, literally anybody can do it. Meaning what? I'm CEO founder, Legacy Africa. We're going to end the year doing six figures or just more. I'm also growth partner in Office Cube that does multi six figures monthly. Big deal. Nelson Mandela Bay Business Chamber, large events. Uh, one of the partners I'm working with is already a multi seven figure guy. These channels, so if you think about YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, across all of them, by the end of the year, I'll do more or less 1 million in overall views. No startup capital, no inherited relationships. Like, bro, I barely got out of high school. And then after that, I did a year of higher education. Um, and here we are. But what goes on behind the scenes is I rarely missed a workout, man. Since I was what, 18, rarely missed a workout. I read over 20 business books. Like, I stopped counting at 20, like, and I've skimmed through and done this and that because most of the time when you've consumed thousands of hours of podcasts and read all the books, and you kind of sense patterns, and you begin to understand things about the way that these people view the world, and you begin to view the world in that way yourself. So you can kind of see where certain chapters are going. You can see around corners in that way. So I think after 20 odd, you just begin to skim. Um, so that's all the ones that I count. I knocked on doors, I cold emailed, I cold called, I talked to strangers, I learned skills, I put forth effort. Ultimately, believing in things that didn't yet exist, believing that they would exist, believing that thoughts become things, and working to make my thoughts things every day of the week. Because the main separator between the people who actually do things and the people who don't is your urgency, is how willing you are. Like, what have you done about it today? Okay, you have this dream, you have this thing, you have a vision about this, you see that. What did you do about it today? Like, that's what lets me know if you're going to do anything about it tomorrow and the next day and the day after and the day after. And once you start moving towards whatever you have in your mind, day after day after day after day, eventually something will budge. The more pressure you put behind the dam, eventually something cracks. And sometimes it isn't as massive as you think it's going to be. But often it doesn't need to be in order to break your belief system of, or open your eyes to, wait a minute, everything that I see around me, everything that I call life is a result of someone's thinking. Like, the things that we look at, the things that we look at, the things that we use on a daily basis, the things that we just take as normal were once in someone else's head, and they imagine, like, the very house, the very building that you're in was once upon a time in someone's head, and then they put it on a plan, and they got the right people to execute on that plan. And it didn't happen overnight, but eventually there was an entire house. Eventually there was a neighborhood. Eventually there were cities. And so I think being willing to work without seeing the result of your work for a very extended period of time, like a lot longer than you think you're gonna have to, and being willing to show up every single day and build towards that thing. And so that also goes into having things that are big enough to be worth building towards. um, I once heard, your dream has to be big enough to fit other people's dreams inside of it. That's how you get to a position where people just bring you onto their things and they just want you to be involved. And you're going to have to say no to a lot of things most of the time. But your dream has to be big enough for other people's dreams to fit inside it. That's how you create those massive outsized returns, those situations where you're coming into situations with a lot of leverage. Is you have to front the work. You always have to be willing to front the work. Uh, and I think if you do that over a long enough time period, and if you watch this channel, you've heard me say this at least 50,000 times. If you're willing to outwork, out improve, out strategize, and out lost, no one can compete against you. And one of the mental frames that helps me when times are the hardest is, instead of going, man, poor me because I have to go through this, you go, poor anyone else who ever has to follow. And so the harder it is, the happier you become, because it means no one else will follow you. No one else will have the guts, the bravado. So every single hurdle you run into, every single spot of trouble, every time the money runs dry, the people are not calling you back, the emails are going unanswered, every time you run into those points of friction, you must think to yourself, wow, this is why it's difficult, and this is why most people stop, and that's why they don't succeed. All right, so I don't want to keep you for too long, but I really sincerely mean it, bro. And anyone who knew me once, anyone who knew me once upon a time would really truly grasp and understand what I mean when I say that if I can, then you can too. If I can really change fundamentally the way I think, I believe that I'm still constantly changing, evolving, growing. But if I can really make something of myself, or at least begin to, from quite humble beginnings, then I sincerely believe that anyone can too, if they apply themselves. All right, thank you. If you like the video, please subscribe. I've been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.